In this lesson, we're going to reshape the side of our car. Alright, so in the last lesson, we came in and we started connecting the wheel arches together, and we started laying out some of our seams that are very important about our car, and specifically the door. And we started on the skirt as well. So what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and start to get the shape of the side. So some vertices are going to be pushed in, and we're going to start to create the roundness of the side of that car. This is going to be very important to do at this point. So looking at our reference image, because sometimes the reference images that are orthographic that we put inside of 3D are very difficult to translate. Okay, sometimes it can give us it can kind of give us an idea of what it looks like, but sometimes we can't really see all of that detail. So looking at this, you can see that seam that we created that goes right above that door lock, okay, right in between that door handle and that door lock. And it comes down and it goes right into the wheel well here, okay, just below those vents. You can see that the door appears to push in. So you can see that we got this nice bubbled look to it, okay, and that kind of flows down until it tapers into the door. This actually kind of pushes into the car, whereas the skirt is left outside. We've got a little bit of curvature underneath that skirt there, and you can see here that it's very flat and even with that wheel, but then it kind of pushes in and rounds off at the bottom. And that you can see that all the way across here, okay, even. So let's go ahead and let's get that curvature for what we do have right now. It's very important as you begin to build, don't build everything in just one view, because if you build the entire side without pushing it in the third direction, you're going to have a really hard time. So we don't want to go too far. So now let's go ahead and take care of that. The best way that I find to do this is let's go ahead and let's take all of the vertices in the side of this car really quickly. Let's flatten those out again. Let's make them planar again. I know that we brought the wheel well outside of that, but I have an idea on how we can get this curvature and make it really easy. Let's go down to the Edit Geometry rollout, and you'll find Make Planar. Let's go ahead and make planar in the, let's see, I was going to say X direction. I think that's right, but we need to turn off our constraints. And let's do the Z direction. There we go. So basically, if we look down our front view, all of those vertices are flat again. And that's good. Let's go ahead and move the object back across to the front like that, to where it's even with that front wheel well. Now, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go to our left view, and let's go to vertex mode, and let's take these vertices right across the bottom, just those across the bottom, and go to our front view, and let's pull that in until these vertices right here touch that edge. Okay. All right, now we have the curvature of the bottom there. We've got that started. Now what I want to do is I want to take the polygons on this back wheel arch, and I want to pull those back out. So if we go to our back view, let's pull just those outside of that, just like that. Okay. Now you can see that we have our curvature on this, but we've got a little bit still missing here. Let's take just this bottom polygon. Let's go to the back view here. You can see that that got away from the edge here a little bit. So let's go ahead and pull that until that's even with our reference image. Okay. So that back wheel, or the back part of that wheel well, does kind of push in just a little bit further. So looking at that, let me move this around here so we can see it a little better. So looking at that, you can see that kind of pushes in a little bit more. All right, now let's get the side of the door here. This is going to be really important. Let's take this edge, this one, and we'll leave the rest alone, just those two edges. And what I'm looking at on this is pushing this edge in. Now we're going to have this segment right here that is not going to be affected, okay, on that. So let's go ahead and push that in, and that's going to give us that curvature we need from the from the door there, from the skirt. And that looks good, but we still need to go ahead and push the rest of these in. So let's push that in. And we're going to get just kind of a slight curve into that. And I'm going to pull this one in just very slightly. It should be mostly flat. Okay. All right, very good. So now we've got that all set there. Let's hit Alt-X so you can see kind of its shape there. If you hit F4, you can see the wireframe on top of that. You can kind of see how that's made. So pretty good start for right now. Really quickly, I want to select my object. Let's change its color to black and then apply a standard gray material to it. So that way we can see it as we're modeling very easily. All right, so there we have that. So it still looks good. Okay, let's select it, hit Alt-X, and let's continue to add the details to what we have right now. So now that I've pushed that in and I've got that shape started, what I want to do now is I want to continue with this shape right here. This is going to have a very specific challenge to us. First thing that you'll notice is that the point of that detail stops right here. So I'm going to add a segment right there where it stops. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to add another segment behind it. So we're going to separate it out just like this. Okay. Let's go to vertex mode and turn on our edge constraints. And let's take this edge, or that vertex, and let's pull that until it meets. Let's take all of these and just pull those straight back until the first vertex meets. And then we'll just continue right on down, just like that. So I'm going to straighten that up to where these are all together. Now I'm missing this right here. That's going to be a little bit of an issue for us. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and target weld this vertex to here and then this vertex to here. Now we still have a problem. We need to get all of this right here, and that's why I put this triangle right here, because if you remember, I can come in and I can actually use cut, and I can cut from right here and then just follow right up the middle there just like that. And I'm going to stop right there for right now. But the really cool thing is I can grab this vertex right here and just pull that up until it meets that edge. So now I have this quad that comes right up through there. Okay, pretty cool trick. All right, let's pull that down. I want to try to get these vertices as even as possible. Okay, and they're looking good. Let me take this, let me pull that across some. And let me pull that up until it meets. All right, good. So now we need to get the rest of this. So the way I'm going to go about this is I'm going to edit Swift Loop, and I'm going to cut right across here. Now it has a problem with this. So really quickly, let's cut from here to here, and then edit Swift Loop. You can see now our loop is going to go all the way through. Swift Loop works really well with quads. Okay. So now let's go to vertex mode. Let's pull that down, and we're going to take this one. We're going to pull that down to here. But now I need to get this to turn to make this shape here. So let's right click and cut. Let's go from this point down to here, and let's see, let's cut to here. Here's where the tricky part happens. Let's go ahead and backspace on that. What we want to do is we want this set of polygons to flow and go right up into that right there. Let's hit Control Backspace to remove that. Let's take this, let's pull it right up to there. And now we've got a set of polygons that are going to be problematic for us, but we're going to straighten it out. So here's what I'll do. Let's see, we need that to be a triangle there. let's see, let's pull this out a little bit. Let's turn off our edge constraints there. This is a new one. We need that to be nice and even there. And let's take these edge constraint, let's pull those down. Something like that. And I'm going to pull that up there. Okay, and just start to kind of get this area to relax here. So now we have that shape in there. And I know we have a triangle here, but this is going to be okay because we really do need that triangle there. Let me pull that down just a little bit. This will round out whenever we finish this out, so I'm going to make it just a little bit larger than the curve that we see here. All right, so now, really important, let's take these edges on the inside, and we need to make sure that they match the curvature of that door, and they do so far. So let's go ahead and take those polygons on the inside of that. And what I want to do is I want to push those in a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's do... I should have pushed all of those in together. That's right. I'll push it in just a little bit more like this. Okay, that's going to bring that door together there. And then we're going to take this vertex and we're going to start to smooth out this line. So it's going to flow right into the front here. All right, so that looks great. All right, I'm happy with that so far. Now, the really important thing after this, whenever we start blocking in these certain details and getting these shapes, it's important to go ahead and add extra segments to kind of help with the smoothing process. So really quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Swift Loop. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's go to Edge Mode. Select these edges right here in the middle, seeing how we've got this long expanse. Let's go ahead and connect that with, let's say, 4 or 5 sets of edges. And what that does is that just kind of helps give us enough geometry, but it also helps us to retain our shape whenever we smooth this out. So I'm going to show you that really quickly. Let's type in Turbo Smooth. Okay, you can find that in your list at the very bottom. It's in alphabetical order. And you'll see that it adds a bunch of different polygons here. We can increase the iterations to make it really smooth, but then I like to turn on Isoline Display so it shows me the original set of edges that I've created on this. And so now you can take a look at this, and it's starting to smooth out. We've got our shape. It's looking really good at this point. And so I'm going to keep that on, but I'm going to go to Editable Poly to continue to work. But I want to be able to see my smoothed result as I'm working on this. So you can turn that on and off as we're working. But this just kind of gives us a preview of what's to come. And the smooth version of this, you can see, is adhering to the shape very well. You can also see right here that this line is beginning to shape up to that corner there. Now, some of these edges are getting a little bit further away, but we'll talk about how to retain the volume that we've created. So in the next lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to continue building up the sides of our car. We're going to go up to the top edge of the door, across the front and the back rear here, and we'll shape that out, and then we'll just continue to build in our details as we go.